here's Vin's plate. Okay, so it is still Friday night. I'm making coffee, there's laundry to be done, but I wanted to prep pork that I want to put in the crock pot tomorrow. So this recipe is the bomb. I mean, it's really good, it's really easy to do. The only downside about it is you make your own rub, and it involves a lot of ingredients that I'll go over. But I know there are enthusiasts out there who think that the best pulled pork is smoked, and I have a smoker, I don't disagree, but I don't know how to use that smoker. And the crock pot is really easy for me. This recipe calls for putting the pork in the oven, but if you do that, it's low and slow, so the amount of time that you have to roast it is 1.5 to 2 hours, I think, per pound. And I have a almost 8-pound pork, and I've done it in the oven before and it took forever. So I'm throwing it in the crock pot, and we're gonna have amazing pulled pork for dinner tomorrow. Okay, so first we are gonna make the rub, and I actually have some in storage already. I just keep it in a mason jar, and it lasts for the next time I wanna make pulled pork. And this will go, some of this will go in the brine. So the ingredients, or the rub, calls for ground cumin, granulated garlic, onion powder, chili powder, cayenne pepper, salt, paprika, I use smoked, ground pepper, and I actually add ground mustard, plus some brown sugar. And I use, I make my own brown sugar, so that's why you kind of see that molasses at the bottom, because it kind of collects at the bottom, and I just mix it up before I use it. Okay, let's get started on this rub. It pretty much calls for a tablespoon of all the seasonings, so. And last but not least, for me, this is something that I've added, just a little bit of mustard powder. Feel free to leave it out and follow the recipe. I think the advice is to always follow the recipe exactly as is the first time around, and then you can modify as needed. So that's it for the spices. Now I'm gonna add a 1/2 cup of brown sugar. And again, I made this brown sugar. I only make it because I just like it a little bit darker than light, and then I guess a little bit lighter than dark, if that makes sense. So I just make my own, and it's easy. Put that baby in. And you just mix it all together until it's combined. And then once you do that, you'll have this lovely little rub that you can store for future use, especially if you have it in excess. Okay, so what I have is a rinsed pork. It's about 7.5 pounds, and now we're gonna brine it. So the brine calls for 2 quarts of water, 2 quarts of cold water. Whoa, let's hold that up. 3 tablespoons of the dry rub mix. 1, 2, 3. Okay. A 1/2 cup of brown sugar, some more brown sugar. Note to self, you might want to mix it all up before you put the water in the pork. And then a half cup of salt. And lastly, it calls for 3 bay leaves. 1 or 2 bay leaves. 2. And that is it. I am gonna put this in the fridge overnight. You should do it for at least 12 hours, but I think overnight should be good for me. Okay guys, I just took the pork out of the brine. It is 7 in the morning. I woke up late because I stayed up late. So this is what it looks like out of the brine. I do not rinse it. And what I'm gonna do is pat it dry, and then I am gonna rub the rub all over it. So I'm just patting it with paper towel. Okay, that should be good. Now I'm gonna wash my hands and then get the rub out. So I have decided to use gloves for this part of the process. It'll just be easier for me to wipe up my hands afterwards. And you're gonna want to generously sprinkle rub all over your pork. All over. This is a lot of meat, so a lot of rub won't hurt. Make sure you get all the crevices, all the nooks and crannies. So the rub I'm using is some that I've already made and had on hand. Last night I made a new batch that I'll keep. And I don't just use it for this pork butt. Sometimes when I put ribs in the pressure cooker, I'll rub it with that rub as well. And I'll show you guys that in another video, how I do ribs in the pressure cooker. But this looks pretty good to me. I think I put on enough. So I will just let the pork sit out because I just took it out of the fridge, so it's really cold. So I'm just gonna let it sit just for a few minutes while I clean up, and then I will put it in the slow cooker. All right, so I set up my slow cooker here, and what I do to cook the shoulder is pretty easy. I just pick it up and drop it in. So it barely fits, but I don't rest it on top of anything. I don't put any broth, I just put it in as is. And I've had great success. Okay, so I've washed my hands. As I mentioned, I just put it in as is, dry, no broth. I don't set it on top of onions, I don't do anything. It just goes in as is. And I am gonna put this on low, and I'm gonna start off with 10 hours. I really should have done this earlier. I just woke up too late. So it's 7 o'clock now, so this will be done in hopefully 5. If not, I'll add a couple of more hours, but I'm gonna start it and I will keep it in this corner. Okay, so my pork has been cooking for almost 10 hours. We have 10 minutes to go, and it let out a lot of juices. I'm gonna go ahead and open the crock up. Look how gorgeous it is. I can't even. And I think it's actually done because of the way it's coming off the bone. I'm gonna get a thermometer to double check. Okay, so I carefully pulled the pork out of the crock, Here it is, and it is beautiful. It is still steaming. I am going to treat it like you would if you were making it in a smoker, and I'm gonna let it rest for a little bit. I'll start pulling it. But I am gonna steal a bite right here. Yes, divine. On point. Yum. Okay, so I poured all of the juices out of the crock. That's just some of the fat that I skimmed away. And I'm gonna go ahead and pull it. Yeah, I'm not gonna eat that. It would normally produce like, you know, yeah, I'm gonna definitely. Oh yeah, no thank you.
No thank you.
Yeah.
No thank you.
Shave that away. There's some meat right there. Okay. And I left it on during cooking just because it, you know, helps with flavor. So let me go ahead and pull the pork. I'm doing an awful job.
Awesome, Mommy.
You want soup? I can just pull the bone out. That's pretty awesome. This I could probably get rid of. And this, oh my god, yuck. That too. Get rid of that. Fat Ola right there. Okay, I can't take it anymore. I'm cheating and I'm just taking a quick, I'm eating a quick sandwich. And normally I do like to put some Salt Lake barbecue sauce on it, but I'm just gonna eat it like this. Okay, so here's my pulled pork. I'm just gonna cover it with foil, and then whenever my guys get home, I will heat it up. I saved the juices from the crock pot. I skimmed off the fat, so I'm gonna save this, and then if I heat it up, if I need to add some juices to help keep it from drying out, I'll do that. And I went ahead and packed up the rest of the pulled pork, and I'm gonna freeze that for a later time. We probably, I mean, I don't know if we'll even eat all of this, so we're just gonna make sandwiches. I'm gonna bake up some fries, heat up some green beans, and we're gonna have a fantastic dinner. And then my little boy had a few bites of my test sandwich, and he thought it was delicious. So I'm thinking that he'll eat some as well tonight, and so I'm super excited. I like toasty buns. So I'm just gonna melt some butter. And then I've already cut up the rolls. So I'm just going to let it soak up some of that butter and start toasting. The rolls are so nice, y'all. It's just so nice. Put in another pat. So I'm gonna make 2 plain buns and 1 onion bun. Okay, here are the toasted buns. I am going to top it off with the pulled pork, the barbecue sauce, and I am going to finally, I know I've said it so many times, plate up this dish.
I got me some singing.
Here's Vin's plate. I just put the pulled pork. I topped it with some warm barbecue sauce. He has the onion bun. I made some garlic parmesan fries, and then those are just regular Costco canned green beans. But we are now gonna eat dinner. Thanks for watching. If you like it, let me know. Please subscribe. Bye.
This is my mother.